welcome to Coffee Walk. This might not be the most exciting coffee walk I've ever done, but I believe it is the most important. If you're a Jeep owner, especially a CJ, YJ, TJ, any Wrangler, JK or JL, you must watch this. If you have any kind of classic Jeep, like Grand Wagoneer that you've restored, you must watch this. And if you're a classic car owner, it's also going to apply to you. So the insurance companies consider a classic car vehicle, and the classic car industry is a vehicle that's over 25 years old. So it's very important that if you have one of these vehicles that's over 25 years old, you've got the proper insurance. Now, I'm going to start off with the biggest group of people this applies to, which is going to be the JK Wrangler owners, which were made from 2007 to 2018. We got one sitting right here. And we've got the body off of it for two reasons. There's over 2 million people have these Jeeps, and most of these Jeeps are underinsured. Most of them are heavily modified. So this Jeep, for instance, has already had $40,000 worth of modifications. It's about to have $38,000 more modifications. This owner has already turned in the second list of modifications to his insurance company. So if this gets damaged, he's got an agreed value policy of over $100,000. Now what happens when these things get damaged and you've got a whole lot of accessories on it that you didn't have insured, the insurance company doesn't want to pay for that. And the first thing they'll do is they'll walk up and look at one like this, which is also heavily modified, and say, it's totaled. Well, it's not totaled. It needs a new frame. Let me show you why. The JKs and the JLs have got crush zones in them. When they're hit hard, or hit in the front or back, and one of these zones go out, it really needs to have a frame. The insurance company, the first thing they want to do is they want to total your Jeep, and let me tell you why. It doesn't go and just get parted out immediately. People think it goes and gets scrapped. It goes to a major salvage pool such as Copart and IAA, and you can look them up, and they go to auction. These are the highest salvage value vehicles out there. They bring big money even wrecked. So you have the option of getting your Jeep fixed. Now, how do you pick a shop? To me, you've got to pick a specialty shop. I think we're the best. There's other out there that are certainly qualified. There's over 10 Black Mountain locations throughout the U.S. now. Look them up. If you've got a wrecked JK or JL, you need a frame, that'd be a good place to start. We know every nut and bolt, every fastener, everything to get these right. Now, what happens if you try to put one of these on a frame machine and you tie it down and you're pulling on it hard, one of the other zones is going to go out. So the only way to fix like this JL right here properly is we're going to pull the body up just like this one, put a new frame under it, and go back from there. Another reason why it's incredibly important and one that's hit in the front gets a new frame and it's not pulled and straightened is your front differential has very, very little adjustment in it. Very little. When you go for a four-wheel alignment, there's not a whole lot there that the alignment machine or the alignment company can work with. So if you want your Jeep to drive straight and track straight after it's wrecked, it needs a frame. Now, why do we have this body out for this other major modifications on this? This is getting a 6.4 Hemi. So, you know, to do that right, it's about $35,000 on a JK, which we only do things right here. And if you didn't add that to your policy and you crash your Jeep and they want to total it, you're going to lose that. So let's go talk about classic CJs for a minute. If you're watching the market, the 76 to 86 CJs, now all of them, not just the Scramblers or the real special edition CJ5s and 7s, have rapidly increased in value, which they should. They're rare and they're super desirable. But this is a rust-free, straight original paint CJ8. If you've just got regular insurance on this thing and you crash it, you're maybe going to get $15,000 to $20,000. If you've got an agreed value policy and you have it appraised, let's say at $50,000 and it gets wrecked, you're going to get $50,000. But you also, if you've got classic insurance or even regular insurance, you do have the option. Remember, you've got the option of getting your vehicle fixed and you have the option of where to take it. Now, why would you take a crashed CJ to a production shop where you've got a Hyundai or a Kia or a Volkswagen, not to rag those manufacturers, all being fixed by techs, and then you roll this in and tech may have never worked on a CJ before. You need to know somebody that knows everything about them and all the nuances of how to get them right. Now, what do you do if a CJ needs a frame? Well, we've got them. I'm not just here to push you parts. We've got plenty in the wrecking yard, CJ5, CJ7. So these can be fixed, but you've got to watch your insurance. So next, as I said earlier, if your Jeep's over 25 years old, it is considered a classic now. So the YJ, the square headlight Jeeps, believe it or not, are now over 25 years old and they're considered classics. Their values are rapidly increasing. We've had a number of them in here in the last 24 months, several for restoration, but a lot of them for major mechanical that people are putting back on the road. So you go spend $5,000, $10,000 doing a major mechanical, or maybe $20,000 or $30,000 on a restoration. Remember, you've got to insure it, because if you crash it, you're out of luck. Just think about the Grand Wagoneers, how that market has gone. There's several companies out there with Grand Wagoneers, as I'm leaning against the Bronco. They are very, very expensive to restore. We got one back here we're about to finish. TJ Wranglers too. Short mile TJs. Now these don't have crush zones in them, so usually you can pull these frames, even though they've got a lot of wiggles and bend, they're tough to pull. If you have a TJ and it's hit hard enough that the airbags blew in it, it's going to need a frame as well. But remember, it can be fixed. If you want your TJ Wrangler fixed, you got emotional attachment to it or whatever, we can fix it, and you have the right to send it where you want to fix it. Get it fixed and get it fixed right. But you got to watch the values of these too. The short mile 97 to 2006 TJ Wranglers and especially the LJs have really gone up in value. However, you need classic insurance for that, not just regular old insurance. So if you've got a low mileage or one of the rare models of the TJs or the LJ Wranglers, make sure you've got classic insurance. I'm going to recommend a company that I've used forever, and no, I'm not getting paid for this advertisement. Haggerty is great to work with. They've insured all my classic cars, all my classic Jeeps. So if you got a Jeep that you need an agreed value policy on, that you've got $50,000 in, and maybe some book value showed at 20, contact Haggerty, work with them, get an appraisal, show them what you've done, and if you do have any damage in the future or something happens to you, you'll be happy you did. Some of these Grand Wagoneer restorations are approaching the $75,000 to $80,000 mark, and they can go further with that depending on what drivetrains you put in them. Again, you need to up your insurance on this. So let's say you had a nice Grand Wagoneer that you had $20,000 in, but you sent it in for restoration, spent the $50,000 or $60,000 and didn't up it, and it gets crashed. Ugh, what a disaster. Now you're thinking, the difference between $20,000 and $80,000 on an insurance policy is going to be huge. It's actually not. It's very small increments. It doesn't cost you a whole lot more because it's a classic car. So that applies to all classic cars as well. If you've got your Camaro in your garage or your Shelby Mustang that you bought for 25 grand and spent another 50,000 on it or 75,000 on it and didn't up your insurance, you better do it now. So there's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching. And remember, if you crash your Jeep and you want it fixed, you have the right to pick the shop. If you crash your Jeep and you want it fixed right, send it to us. Please like, tag, share, and follow. And I hope this saves some people a lot of heartache.